Assalamu alaikum all. Thank you and welcome in the second session of Amazing Stories in Quran. Today we have the session on Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam dream and Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. I will hand it over to Mustajab for today's session.
Thank you, Abbas. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hoping everyone is well. So today's story is about Prophet Abraham, or Ibrahim as we call it in Urdu, and Prophet Ismail, and the dream that they had, and from his birth. So I'll start bit of from his birth, and then we'll go and cover it. So we just a prayers for to start off. Look, we're dedicating anything that we do and study and find to our living Imam, which is Imam Mahdi alayhi salam, the Lord of our time, and hoping that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our efforts, and there is some learning from this story. There are numerous stories about Prophet Abraham or Ibrahim in the Quran. I have today focused only on the dream and the story that evolves around it between Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. So the two prophets are covered. Okay, so we're going to start, inshallah. Let's see. So start with. So where is this story in the Quran? So the story is in chapter 37, which is called As-Safat, and the verses are 100 to 111. That's where this discussion, some of the discussion is. Obviously, there are other places of other stories which may have some verses relating to Prophet Ibrahim, as well as Prophet Ismail as well. In Surah Maryam, one of the verse is referred to the piousness. Okay, so let's start how the story starts from the birth of Prophet Ismail alayhi salam. So the story starts when Prophet Ibrahim wanted to have another son, and at that time the wife of Prophet Ibrahim was a lady called Sarah, and she was old, and she knew about her body that she was not in a position to have another child. So what she did was, at that time, she had a maid, a helper. Her name was Hajra, and she asked Prophet Ibrahim to marry her so that he can make his wish come true, which was the command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what happened was, when Prophet Ibrahim got married to Lady Hajra, and he was gifted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala a son who was to become a prophet, Ismail. So the mother, so keep in mind, the mother of Prophet Ismail is Bibi Hajra, or Lady Hajra as you call it. So the newborn son became the light of his father. So Prophet Ibrahim was joyful, joyous on the birth. He was happy. But what this caused, as we see around in our life and other surroundings, that the first wife, which was Sarah, she started to become jealous of the second wife, Hajar. And she eventually reached a point where she could not stand to see Lady Hajra and her son. And what she did was, so eventually she asked, as a result of Prophet Ibrahim, that he abandoned Lady Hajra, his other wife, and her son in a place so remote, so far away that no one can hear any news of it. And so by the will of Allah and the command of Allah, Prophet Ibrahim accepted Sarah's request. He accepted the request because it was a command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Keep that in mind. So under the protection of Allah, Prophet Ibrahim took his wife Hajra and his son Prophet Ismail, and set out for a distance place. That distance place ultimately reached, and it was, as we call it, Makkah right now. So that place is Makkah, where the Khane Kaaba is. That is the first time when Prophet Ibrahim took Prophet Ismail there. And what he did was, after he reached there, he left Bibi Hajra and Prophet Ismail, who was in his infancy, there, and he returned to his earlier wife Sarah. When he left her there, the lady Hajra had a limited supply of food that they carried, when limited supply of water, and soon she was left all alone with her son. And eventually there came a time when the food ran out. She had no food, she had no water, and she was out of milk for her son. It's because she was not able to consume any food for herself or her son. She started going out into the desert, searching for water, and she saw the condition of her son. It was bad, and she went out into the desert, into the land, and the barren land. And as we know it, that land is barren land. There was no water there nearby. So she went out, she looked at it, searched for it. She returned back empty-handed. She couldn't find water for her son. Then she looked at her son's condition, and she wanted to feel give up, but she went again. She said, I'm going to try again, and I'm going to find and see if I can find some water for my son, who was very thirsty. So as she went out the second time, she tried, and she could not find water again. This time she went back, and there was disappointment on her face because she couldn't find the water. But remember that as she was sitting there, what happened was, as we call it, the miracle water right now, it's called Zamzam, Abe Zamzam, as we call it. We can get it right now from Kaaba when we visit it. What happened was, as she was waiting, and she still had faith in her, because she was a very pious lady, she had faith in what her husband, who was the prophet. So remember, she is a very esteemed lady, because she is the wife of a prophet and a mother of a prophet as well. So she was, as she was sitting there, she saw, and her son was lying in the desert, the barren desert, and all of a sudden, from underneath the feet of Prophet Ismail came an eruption of water, and it started flowing, and she took the water. She quenched her thirst, her son's thirst, then her thirst, and till she became, and both of them became filled. As a result of the water, what happened, which was a very barren land, and the birds and animals, wherever they see water from up above, when they're flying, God has given them instincts, they can identify, they started coming there. So they started visiting that place. But as I continue with that story, remember at that time that what happened there was also part of the prayer that Prophet Abraham did. Remember, I told earlier that Prophet Ibrahim, as he dropped his wife and son in a barren land, was because he was obeying the command of Allah. And indeed, Prophet Ibrahim has given a lot of tests which he have successfully passed um, to Allah. And there, all of those stories are in the Quran that we can read. So it was his prayer that was granted by Allah, because as he was returning back after dropping them, he said, "Oh my Lord, I am leaving back my family under your protection in a deserted land beside your sacred house." So he knew that place was a sacred house. I'll take questions at the very end once I'm finished with the story. It was a sacred house so that they may offer their prayers there. So what he said was, he made a wish to Allah that I am leaving there under your command, and my wish is that they are under your protection in this deserted land. So if you see desert and nothing is there, no food, no nothing, see how much faith Prophet Abraham had in Allah, that he left his wife and his beloved son, who was little baby, 1 year, 2 year old, there in the deserted land. And that place is the sacred house. And what he did was, my wish is that they offer prayers and, oh my Lord, turn their hearts towards it and provide them the fruits as means of their sustenance. Fruit is for their patience, that they are obeying in this, they are obeying the command of Allah by agreeing to stay there. If there was normal wife or someone, and if I go or someone else goes and says, hang on, I'm going to drop you, my son and kid, in the desert, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you thinking? So they had faith that whatever the Prophet Ibrahim was saying, whatever their husband, the father, was saying, was indeed the command of Allah. So, and surely they will remain grateful to you. And that was the case. They remained grateful. So as we continue with this story, what happened was, after this was that there was far away, when the lady Hajra was there with his son Prophet Ismail, who was infant, the far away in that barren land was a tribe called Jurhum tribe. They were people, they were like wildlings and other people who are in the wild, barren Bedouin Arab people. And what happened was that
Ibrahim.
they started, when they saw the birds coming there, they also came to that place seeking for water. At that time, Bibi Hajra, she became accustomed, she became less afraid of these people, and they eventually settled down in that, near the area, so they can also have water. So as time passed by, Prophet Ismail, he grew up into a beautiful, handsome young man, and he continued living there. And what happened after that was, let's see. So before that, what happened was, he continued living there, and one day Prophet Abraham visited, because he had a dream. And that dream was, in that dream, Prophet Ibrahim said to Prophet Ismail, his son, who was also a prophet, he said, oh my dear son, I have had a dream wherein I am slaughtering you by serving your head from your body. What do you say about it? Now imagine a father saying to his son that I saw a dream and I am slaughtering your head. Now we also have to remember that our dreams are separate to the dreams that Prophet had. Shaitan, or Shaitan as we call it in English, can do whispering and give us bad dreams and bad ideas. But a Shaitan cannot come in dreams and whisper to Prophet. So indeed, that dream was a command from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That he saw that dream that he is cutting his son's head. What did Prophet Ismail said? Because he was a worthy son of a worthy father. What did he said? He was without any fear and any hesitation. He said to his father, oh, my beloved father, you should fulfill the demand of your dream. By Allah's grace, you will find me as one of the patient and steadfast people. What did he say? He wasn't hesitant. He wasn't scared. He said, if it is a command from Allah, you will find me obedient and patient. So, continuing on. So, what happened was, in that deserted plain, Prophet Ibrahim then took his son, Prophet Ismail, and he laid him on the ground, such that his cheek was on the ground. So, not his face, not his back, his cheek was on the ground, and he was pointing towards the Kaaba, and with cheeks and sun facing the earth. So, what happened? And he took a knife to slaughter him. At this, what happened at this point? Prophet Ismail said to his father. Now imagine, his father is about to cut his head, and what is Prophet Ismail saying to his father? He's saying, "Oh my beloved father, tie down my hands. He said, tie down my hands with a cord, with some rope, with some wire, tie them down so that I'm in a position, so that I'm not in any position to offer any resistance unintentionally. Intentionally, he didn't wanted to resist because he agreed to the commandment of Allah. But he said unintentionally, I can react. So tie my hand and also keep your clothes far away from me so that they are not stained with my blood. So my blood doesn't come on your clothes, and my beloved mother may not know of anything about this. He was also thinking about his mother, that my mother also not know about this, lest she should lose her patience. This would be a big thing for a mother, that her son was slaughtered by her husband. Um, and make sure that your knife, and also look, now the commandments are the commandments that we still follow, and make sure that the knife is well sharpened so that you may do your job quickly without delay. That way I shall bear no agony before facing them. So Prophet Ibrahim said, O my beloved son, you are steadfast in helping me carry out the command of Allah. He said to his son, you are helping me by telling me all these things as in me obeying the command of Allah, and so was Prophet Ismail obeying the command of Allah. So thereafter what happened was, he got ready and he was about to slash the throat of his son, but at that time the divine intervention happened. The command of Allah, with Allah's command, the knife refused to run on Prophet Ismail's throat, and he remained unhurt. He was never hurt. And in the meantime, Allah sent a revelation down. Revelation is a message from Allah that comes to prophets. So a revelation came to Prophet Ibrahim, which said, O Ibrahim, indeed you carried out your duty as you were commanded, and you fulfilled what you had dreamed. So even though he did not cut his son, because in his dream he was cutting the son, but it was a test by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the prophet. And you fulfill what you had dreamed by giving it a practical shape and by establishing your obedience and servitude to Allah. As a token of sacrifice of Prophet Ismail, Allah sent down a lamb and as a substitute. So Prophet Ismail was substituted with a lamb, and that's when the knife slaughtered the lamb. And what we do today is, from that time onwards till today, what we do is we do that sacrifice. Became a tradition, and as we know, we call it Eid al-Adha. What we do is we carry out that customs. All the Muslims around the world and people who go to Hajj, they sacrifice animals, and they sacrifice animals like lambs, goats, camels, cows, etc. If you're from Pakistan or India, they do goats there. So in different part of the world, different, but these are the animals that we do as sacrifice. And what we do as a sacrifice is we give a portion to the poor people, then the relatives that are needed, and a portion for us to consume. So thereafter, Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet, what happened after that? Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail returned home. They came back to Lady Hajra. Prophet Ismail stayed with his mother, and Prophet Ibrahim, he returned back to his wife Sarah. Okay. After a while, what happened was, Prophet Ismail, and remember I said there was a tribe called Jurhum. They started living close by in the Makkah. And Prophet Ismail, he was of a certain age to get married. So what he did was, he got married to a girl from that tribe. And at one point in time, and this happened, look, what happened was, Bibi Hajra, and meanwhile, had passed away. And he was very sad. Obviously, his father came to consolidate. But on this part, when he got married to that lady from Jurhum tribe, Prophet Ismail was not at home when Prophet Ibrahim, he visited Makkah. And he saw that Prophet Ismail's wife was there. He, however, Prophet Ibrahim, he did not find the girl worthy of his son by her ways and manners, because her ways, he watched the ways and his manners, and while going back he left a message, like a coded message for his son Ismail, which said, better change the threshold of your house. The message was to change the threshold of your house. It means change your wife, because what the prophet, now Prophet Ismail understood that the meaning of the message was, and in difference, in politely agreeing to his father's wishes, he divorced his wife. He then married another woman who by all standards was worthy of being his wife, and the Almighty Allah blessed her to become the mother of his offspring, of Prophet Ismail's offspring. So, continuing on, the builder of Kaaba. So, the next part of the story in between Prophet Ismail and Prophet Ibrahim is the builder of Kaaba. Okay. So, let's look into it. So, when the Prophet Ibrahim visited Makkah, again he said to his son that I have been commanded by Allah to build a house in this barren land. Prophet Ismail agreed with his father to build that house. So he's again told that I've been commanded by Allah, I have to build this house here, which as we know today is called Khana Kaaba, the house of Allah. Okay. So Prophet Ismail agreed to build the house and offered, he said, whatever help is required, oh my father, I'm happy to help you. And Prophet Ibrahim, then what he did was, he gathered all the necessary materials that are required to build the house under the will of Allah with full confidence and faith. He had full confidence and faith. Allah has asked him, and he started gathering the materials. And while building the house, as Prophet Ibrahim was building the house, he continued saying a prayer. And what was that prayer? While everyone recites Salawat in your hearts, you can do it. Allows me to drink some water. And what was the prayer? The prayer was, oh my Lord, accept from our side the humble service of building your house. As you are all knowing, Allah is all knowing and all hearing. He knows everything, He hears everything. Oh my Lord, give us the strength to remain Muslims from our progeny. Okay, so every prophet and their followers were Muslims. Okay, remain Muslims from our progeny, produce a generation which should abide by your religion, that is Islam, and show us the right method to perform Hajj, the pilgrimage. He also requested that show the nation, show the Muslims the right way to perform Hajj, and accept our repentance and forgive our shortcomings. They accept our repentance when we do tawbah for any sin that we have done intentionally or unintentionally. May Allah forgive all of our sins and our parents' sins. Okay, and the shortcomings, if we are supposed to do salat, sometimes we do mistakes, sometimes maybe we are reading our namaz is not, salah is not on time, sometimes we are not doing the azan and the qamat, so we are lacking in these things. And so his prayer was about that. So you are beneficent and merciful. He said to Allah, you are beneficent, you're merciful, you're Rahim, you're Kareem. Oh my Lord, Lord of the worlds. Allah is Rabbil Alameen. He is Lord of the worlds. So continuing on, Prophet Ismail used to carry, what Prophet Ismail used to do at that time was he used to carry brick stones, and Prophet Ibrahim used to pave them. So he used to bring the stones, and Prophet Ismail used to put stone after stone. As you can see in the picture back there, the stones on top, and that's how Khane Kaaba was built. And at last, a full structure of 4 walls. So Khane Kaaba has 4 walls, okay, became completed. And remember, at this time, you have to remember a point that the favorite angel of Allah, which is the archangel Jibril, the reason it's called favorite angel was the angel that used to come to the prophets. He was the one who guided Prophet Ibrahim at every step and indicated to him the position of Hajra Aswad, as we call the black stone, which is fixed near Khane Kaaba on one of the corners. So the black stone, and where was the black stone found? So he told Prophet Ibrahim to dig at a certain place and he will find that black stone. And from the ground, it was taken out, it was found, and Prophet Ibrahim installed it at a place on the wall where Jibril had pointed out to him where to put it there. And it still remains there. So if any one of us, may Allah take all of us to Khane Kaaba, visit Makkah, Medina, and inshallah ta'ala, we can see that stone there. And then what did Prophet Ibrahim did was that he built two doors of the Holy Kaaba, the house of Allah. One opening to the east and the other opens to the west. And after the construction of the house, the holy Kaaba, Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Ismail alayhi salam, they performed the Hajj rites, like how the Hajj, they performed the first Hajj there. And Prophet Ibrahim raised his hand in supplication and he prayed. And he says, "O my Lord, make this land a place of sanctuary and provide the fruits to the people belonging here as means of their sustenance." Sustenance, survival, we need water, food to drink. And that is the end of today's story about Prophet Ismail and Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. So may Allah accept our effort to understand the story, and you guys hopefully learned something and found something interesting in the story. So that's the end of the story. Okay. If there